Okay, guys, so what I'm going to do is I ended up speeding up this video quite a bit because it was basically me just redrawing what I had already drawn on the left-hand side. So I'm going to give you the option to follow along with me as I draw, or I'm going to give you the picture and you can draw it from the picture. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about those folds and how to create them on a person. So I'm drawing the hand straight out or the arm completely straight out, and I'm starting with the actual body first. And then I'm going to draw the clothes on top. So this is what we talked about before. The clothes really aren't going to be like sticking to your skin. So I've got a cuff here. Once I start drawing my fabric, then I'm going to go back and erase my body or my arm line because my arm is on the inside of my shirt. So then my shirt is now going to hang on the outside of my body. Also doesn't rarely hang straight. So again, you'll just have to look at yours, at your model or figure or body or whatever. When you go to draw your selfie, you're just going to have to look at yours and see how your shirt hangs off your body. So I am using a 4B here. That way I can start a little bit light, but then get to my darks pretty quickly. Because a lot of this is lines and then shading. I'm using my finger just to kind of blend that in, and then just to kind of give a little shading on my actual hand and arm. So this is like a 3/4 length sleeve, kind of rolled up a little bit on the edges. It's pulling because my arm is going up, and then under the arm, it's pretty much always going to have wrinkles under the arm right there. So this next one is almost like a short sleeve shirt with a little bit of cuff on the edge. Again, I'm just drawing my arm straight out and then just lightly sketching the arm first. There are two ways you can do this. You can start with the body and then put clothes on top, or you can start with the clothes, go straight to the clothes, but then you're probably going to have to alter it just a little bit. Okay, so there's just a basic arm. I'm just sketching it out real quick. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to put my short sleeve on here. Remember how I said it's going to hang off, right? So there it is, hanging off. It's not going to be glued to my skin. And then I'm going to color or shade on the inside because that kind of becomes black in that area. And I won't be able to see it on the inside. Okay, so I'm just making those lines and just shading here. There I am coloring that part in. That's what I was talking about before. So I just want you to really think about how those lines might fall. And this next one, I'm going to draw him with his arm kind of down. He has his sleeve rolled up, like let's pretend this is a long sleeve shirt and you've rolled it up a little bit. Just kind of that way you can kind of create a lot of folds in there. I'm starting with my body first and then I put my clothes on top. So you may prefer the other way, and I'm going to show you that way on that number 4. But for me, it's easiest if I kind of draw the body and then I can imagine how the shirt will hang off of that body. I apologize for all the shaking that's going on in this film. I had to makeshift a desk right next to the window because my lighting's so bad today. Of course, it's gotten better now. It's but it wasn't this morning, so it's fine. We're all fine. Okay, so this is what I like about drawing the fabric on top of my body. Then I just go back in and erase that body. It's just easier for me, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily easiest for you. It's just what I prefer. And since this is a sleeve that's been rolled up, it's going to have a ton of folds. So a lot of these folds come together and a lot of them don't. Some of them come all the way across your body or all the way across the arm, and some of them don't. You'll just have to look at some pictures, look at how your fabric or your shirt hangs on you when you go to draw that, and just draw what you see. That's all you're going to do is you're just going to draw what you see. So after I'm done drawing the lines, then I'm shading. I don't want too much shading because you've got to leave some parts white. Those are the highlights in the folds. Yours doesn't have to look just like mine. I just want you to understand how the folds work in the fabric. And also how the shading works too. So wherever I've drawn a line is where I'm shading. Now I'm just going through and darkening up my dark lines, which is why I'm working with a 4B. So that way I can darken it up without having to change my pencils. Okay, so this next one, I'm going to show you a long sleeve shirt, and I'm going to start with a basic shape of a shirt first. This is different than what I normally do. Normally, I like to start with the body first, but I wanted to kind of show you a couple ways to do it because one way is not always the best way, right? Maybe for you, this is fine. So I'm starting out with just the basic shape of a shirt. But listen, when I go back in to add those lines, I'm going to have to erase, which is what I'm doing here. I'm going to have to go back and erase because some of those lines on the outside of the shirt aren't smooth or aren't straight. So then I'm going to have to go back and make those curves here and there. So here's a great way to draw a hand. If you don't want to draw a hand, you stick them in a pocket. You don't have to worry about it. Also, I'm just realizing that all of these figures that I'm showing you are forward facing. We haven't really drawn any on the profile or any from the back. So I'm going to give you some pictures and then you can practice that on your own. I don't really think you need to see me drawing that. If you need help drawing that, let me know, but I think you guys are good after seeing this, and you guys can just follow along from a picture. So this is a good example right here on this arm that it doesn't lie straight. Sometimes your fabric gets bubbled up in places. Um, Maybe it's caught, or maybe, I don't know, this is just like the way the wind's hitting it or something. But your fabric is very rarely is it just a complete straight line. So just keep that in mind. I'm also showing you I feel like this is a lot of guys and maybe not girls. So if you are drawing a girl, your fabric may lie a little differently based on your body shape. You can keep that in mind. Here's what I don't want. And I put this up here just because I don't want to see this. I don't want to see a shirt that looks like this, and I don't want to see random lines. This doesn't make sense at all.